All right, thanks for tuning in to IndyCar Racing Talk on Prime Sports Network. That's right, we are kicking off the season, maybe a little late, but perfect time because the Indianapolis 500 is coming up in just a few weeks. We have the Indianapolis road course race coming up, the GMR Grand Prix. That's going to be in just a few days. And live from Indianapolis Motor Speedway is our top IndyCar analyst, Eric Smith from RaceReviewOnline.net. And Eric, that's going to be your home for the next 2 weeks.
Yep, be spending a lot more time here than I will in my actual house. So it's a second home, and can't ask for a better second home. That's for sure.
All right. Well, since this is the first show that we're doing in the IndyCar season, let's kind of do a quick recap. And basically, I'm going to ask you if there is a specific storyline after the first 4 races this season.
I'd say the main one was obviously the Romain Grosjean, the F1 driver coming over, Jimmy Johnson. Those are the main ones. Scott McLaughlin, the 3 rookies, talented rookies. That was the main storyline. But now I think it's kind of shifted to the youth movement. We got the 4 races, 2 of them, the winners. They're both 21 now, but Pato O'Ward, when he won a few weeks ago, was still 20. He just turned 21. So you got the youth, you got the future. Colton Herta just signed a 2-year extension to remain with Andretti Autosport. One of the main things that was talked about with these young guys is would they ever go to F1? Well, that just kind of took one guy away because I talked to him personally, and he said it's going to take a lot to get him away from IndyCar, and F1's not even really on his radar. So the youth is kind of the story. Plus, you got the old guard, Scott Dixon's the defending series champion. He's won 6 championships, one shy of Richard Petty. That's NASCAR. AJ Foyt, he's won 7 championships in IndyCar. That's the record. So those are kind of the main storylines. And as we shift through the end of the month, of course, the 500, and you got the TV deal. The TV package is up at the end of the season. IndyCar is shopping around. NBC Sports, I've heard, may not want to come back. CBS Sports is talking about maybe wanting to come over. So those are some of the main storylines as we head to the GMR Grand Prix tomorrow and the Indy 500 a couple weeks later.
Okay, so out of the rookies, why is McLaughlin doing so much better?
Penske. He's in a Penske car. Penske's obviously the top equipment in IndyCar. He's familiar with road courses. Not here, naturally. He's only ran 1 race, St. Pete, last year before he started full season this year. But where he grew up in Australia was all road courses, so it kind of transfers over. Grosjean would probably transfer well. He's just not with a very big team. And then you got Jimmy Johnson, who's never raced on any of these tracks before in a road course in a series that's so difficult to compete in. So, yeah, that's probably why McLaughlin's doing the best out of the 3.
And why didn't both of those, Grosjean and Johnson, race in Texas?
They're doing road and street courses only. Johnson's wife originally did not. Fun fact, I guess mid to late 2000s, he was going to run an IndyCar for Penske in the Indy 500. They started having kids. His wife said no. His wife wanted him with the roof over his head. So that was kind of the deal he made with her to come to IndyCar, is he'll run road and street courses. But now with the aero screen, she's more open. So he's talked about maybe running the Indy 500 next year.
Oh, okay. Well, we'll see about that. Otherwise, the driver that is the story so far this year?
Honestly, probably Colton Herta and Pato O'Ward. We'll put a co-driver just because they're both the younger guys. They're both showing speed. They're both championship contenders. They've never won a championship before because this is only Herta's 3rd year. Pato's 2nd full-time year, and they're already championship contenders with good teams. So I'd say it's kind of a top driver right now just because they're kind of still in the storylines. But Mr. Reliable Scott Dixon, he dominated Texas the first race. And he's leading the points, but we're not talking about him much, which is dangerous.
All right. Now, as far as the race this week, and it seems to have several names. What is the deal with that? So the Indianapolis Grand Prix, and as I mentioned, the GMR Grand Prix. So do they like calling it something specific?
More the GMR Grand Prix because it's the title sponsor. They're the health sponsor of like the safety crew.
Okay.
They sponsor him for the whole season, so that's why they got the titlement sponsor for this race weekend.
Okay, so as far as practice and qualifying, what have you seen so far? Any specific drivers stick out?
Yeah, right now I would say Joseph Newgarden, Colton Herta, Rinus VeeKay, Jack Harvey, and those rookies, McLaughlin and Grosjean, are kind of separating yourself as your favorites right now. They were good in both sessions. Andretti guys, Rossi in general was quickest this morning, But here this afternoon, they just finished a practice at 1:45 Eastern. The track temperature rose like 30 degrees because it's hotter outside, right? So there's less grip. You can run your Firestone Red alternate tires in that session. So it's more indicative that you're going to see tomorrow's race and qualifying later. And the Penske guys rose at the top. Andretti minus Colton Herta's guys fell. So I think the Penske guys look good. McLaughlin being one. VK, he won the pole last year. He was Rookie of the Year last year. He won a pole in the road course race here in October. He was third in the first session, second in the second session. So I'd say he's right there with the Penske's. Like I said, Herta and Jack Harvey's another sleeper. So you can get some good value if you're wanting to bet on this race this weekend with some younger guys, good value. Last I checked, I think VK was 50-1. And like I said, he was third and second, respectively, in the practices.
Okay. Is he going to be one of your sleeper picks?
He is. Right now he is. Qualifying's going to say a lot later. Right now I'm going to say he is, but some of the trends they looked for, 5 of the last 8 races here were won by the pole sitter.
Oh.
7 of the 9 races have all been run by the top 2 rows, so first, second, third, fourth.
Okay.
Starter. 12 of the last 13 IndyCar races in general, so go back to last year, not just this track, just in general, have been won from his driver in the top 2 rows.
Well, that's exciting.
So I think a lot of our picks to this qualifying later, the top 4 guys, watch out for a race winner. So, I think some of those trends you're going to have to watch out for those guys later.
Why is that? Why is that happening? What's that? That doesn't sound, I don't know.
It's weird. It sounds, you would think so. You would think like, wow, it's just the same guys up front, finished up front. It is entertaining with the passing. But I think once you get to the front few, these guys are so good. It's hard to pass some of these guys. So they'll alternate. It'll be a hell of a race. These guys, it's a three-stop strategy race with 85 laps. So you're not going to have a bunch of fuel saving unless the fluke caution flies in the middle of this thing. So there's going to be a lot of passing. It's just the clean air up front, and these guys are so good, it's hard to leapfrog them. So it's just clean air, just like NASCAR.
Okay.
It always rings keen.
And maybe I shouldn't bitch so much about NASCAR and it being, racing being so boring and.
It's that way every series,
yeah.
But this one at least there is passing to get to that point. It's just hard to get. I guess they qualify up front for a reason. They've got better cars, and you got a shorter race than NASCAR, so there's not as much time to get by them. So, but no, I'd say the top 4 starters are going to be the ones to watch, and if any of these guys sneak in a top 4. I would say right now, if you can bet on it, jump in on them while they're like 50-1, 40-1, because if they get in the top 4 and they update the betting lines, we'll see how much they drop.
And okay, so are the betting lines, are they still active right now? I haven't
looked since I left the media center. I know this morning they were. I know this morning VK was 50-1. So I don't know if they've updated.
So in other words, you're still able to put some money on them right now. Okay.
Yep.
50-1. All right, that's just VK though.
That's VK. There's some other, like Jack Harvey. I'm not sure what he was updated this morning, but he's usually like 28, 30-1 or worse normally.
Okay.
He could be farther back. So those 2, McLaughlin, you could probably get for a good deal right now. I would throw some money on the longer shots before qualifying rather than picking the favorites, just because
seems to be that's the way to do it every week in this sport.
Yep. Bet early on the sleepers and then do another bet after qualifying closer to time and kind of hammer it down from there.
All right, so who do you like?
I'm probably going to go, I said the other day to Will Power, I'll probably stick with him. He's won this race, 4 times? He won the Harvest Grand Prix in the fall here, same road course. He was 3rd quickest in practice just now. He's the pole king. He's won like 62 poles in his career, so if he qualifies up front, I'm probably going to go Will Power. I mean, we've had 4 races run this year, 4 different winners. Why not go 5 for 5? Fun fact, out of the 4 races this year, a Penske driver has finished second in all of them. They've not won a race this year. Out of the 4 races, a Penske driver has not won. They finished second in all of them. I'm going to go with Penske owning this track, Penske owning the series, going to get a victor tomorrow. Okay,
now you'll have a whole bunch of stories that'll be available early on Saturday morning at racereviewonline.net. What are you working on?
Just finished the 5 burning questions today. I'm going to work on IndyCar's had a weird streak of first lap crashes lately. Half of the races this year have been a first lap crash. 6 of the 9 last year did. 6 of the last 9 last year. Or 6 of the 9 here in general. And then I think it was like 6 last year total too, and the series in general had a first lap crash. And it's been like 32% of the races since 2017 have had a first lap crash.
Wow.
Which goes, they've got to be aggressive. Remember I said the starting position means a lot. And turn 1 down here on the road course is a tight turn. You got the front straightaway they could fan out, and it's a tight turn 1. So you see guys try to make moves that maybe they're not there. So I'm going to talk to some drivers about that, talking to some about how the temperatures are similar this weekend compared to the fall. The July race they ran here last year was 95 degrees. This weekend it's going to be low 70s. It's a little bit warmer than the fall. So how much of the setups translate over, talking about drivers about that. And my other one I'm talking about is are they thinking championship yet? Because IndyCar season's much shorter than NASCAR, right? NASCAR's got 36 races, IndyCar's got 17. This is already the 5th of 17 races. The Indy 500 will make race 6. And then you got Belle Isle the next race weekend, and a couple weeks after the 500 is a doubleheader. So you're halfway through the season almost. And Indy 500 produces double points. So double the points compared to normal races. So you had a doubleheader in Texas. You have the Grand Prix this weekend. You get qualifying points for the 500, double points for the Indy 500. So I'm kind of curious if these guys, you talk about the Indy 500, the biggest race in the world. They all want to win. But how many are thinking championship right now? Because double points, you finish bad, you make a rare mistake, it can take you out of championship hopes too. So I'm kind of working that angle. I got Jimmy Johnson and Scott Dixon I'm talking to here at 3. So I'll have all those stories up tomorrow morning.
Before I let you go, do you think Jimmy Johnson will lead any laps this year?
Ooh, good question.
And I'm not talking about while everybody's pitting off sequence.
Like a true lap, passing
a
for
true
the
lap.
lead. I'm going to say yes.
Really?
I think he will find – he seems to be getting more and more comfortable. This is it's a hard series to compete in. He's got a big learning curve. But with having majority road and street courses, it's just one discipline he has to work on. He doesn't have to worry about ovals. It's just this. I say with the Ganassi car, by the end of the year, I think he could find his way. There's always a fluke race here in IndyCar. There's something happens. I feel like there'll be somewhere he's going to find his way and lead maybe one lap. But I do think he'll get one lap led sometime this season.
You think you should ask him that question?
That's a good question. If I could word it right. If I could word it
yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Don't punch me, but do you think you'll lead a lap? Yeah. Yeah, I'll try to word it right.
Maybe how many laps do you think
there you go.
Yeah.
Do you feel comfortable enough by the end of the season you might be able to get a lap led?
Yeah, I don't know about that either. Yeah, work on that one. Work on it.
Yeah, I'll try to work it in my head here the next few minutes. But hey, I will say this: we're in a COVID world. I know it's starting to wrap up, but they've got garage and pit access.
That's
again.
awesome.
And NASCAR, you don't even have to wear a mask in garage and pits anymore. They said they announced that yesterday. So
that's great.
Things are starting to open up, and it's good to have a press conference face to face, talk to a guy one-on-one. I could walk the pits. I could go to the garage. It's starting to feel a little normal.
Does that mean post races or interviews after practice or qualifying, no drivers will be wearing masks?
Here they have to.
Okay.
Only because
because of Indianapolis?
I'll try to be nice because of the mayor here. The mayor in Indianapolis is just not a very wise guy. Like you said yesterday, I think we've seen the things yesterday. They said the CDC and the government has said if you're vaccinated or whatever, you don't have to wear a mask outside. The transmission rate is basically 0. Well, he said because there's not enough people in Indianapolis vaccinated, he's not going to follow that guideline. Why? I have no idea, but that's the Indianapolis mayor for you. That tells you everything what you need to know why there wasn't fans at last year's Indy 500 in a nutshell.
That's why we have a voting system too in this country. So leave it up to the citizens of Indianapolis.
Yep.
Was it next year? Or 3 more years?
22. I think
2022. Okay, next year then. Okay.
Oh yeah, that is yeah. Next year. Yeah. These all years have run together. It's hopefully people are growing tired of it. I mean, we're outside. I mean, I get it. People are wearing them just, hey, you open the gates, we'll play by the rules if we have to. But I'd be curious, especially with NASCAR saying that, hey, you know what, we're going to use the mask mandates for the stands based by the state where we can run, but our pits and garage that we can control, you don't have to wear them. So they're starting to do it. I feel like usually it's once one does, it opens the gates for others.
How many fans do you expect?
135,000.
What about this weekend?
I haven't talked to Bulls yet to find out exactly. Usually this race gets about 45 to 50,000. So he said we can hold 135,000. We've got the approval. It's
Okay.
just we don't think that many people. They haven't shown up before. But I will say for a practice day here for this road course is one of the biggest practice day crowds I've seen in the history of this event.
People are jonesing to get out there.
Yep.
So you never know.
It bodes well for tomorrow.
All right. So, and when is the race?
Green flag's 2:45 on NBC tomorrow.
All
race
right.
cover starts at 2.
And is Saturday, is that a normal situation for a race?
Yeah, for this one. And because in the past, this race always ran on Mother's Day weekend, but since Mother's Day weekend was the way the dates felt earlier,
and they always had it on a Saturday.
Yep, so they always just ran it Saturday and gave the teams a Sunday off. So they just kept it the same.
Eric, great job. Appreciate it. We'll be talking to you a lot over the next few weeks leading up to the 500. You're going to have tons of interviews and reports, all sorts of cool stuff to check out here on our YouTube channel. And also go to Eric's website at racereviewonline.net, and you'll have a smorgasbord of not only IndyCar racing, but, of course, Indianapolis 500 coverage with the big race coming up in a few weeks. So, Eric, we'll talk to you again on Monday. When you recap the race this weekend on Saturday, and also we'll talk a little bit of NASCAR, and you will be home, correct?
I'll be home. Yep.
Okay. That's one of your home days.
Monday. Yeah, this is my home games. I got 2 home games this month, so it works out.
Thanks, Eric.
Thank you.